please, if you can, go follow my Instagram. It is full of stuff. So far, we got 18 followers, mixed between people that know my channel and people who don't. Please, if you have an Instagram account, please follow me. And also, if you have a Facebook account, follow my new Facebook page. There's not much on it so far, but I'm hoping to expand on that in the future. Now you're wondering, D the B, how do you find these amazing platforms? Well, obviously, go to my main channel, and there will be a tab with my Instagram link and my Facebook link. With that out of the way, let's get started with the video. Well, here we are again. The last time I talked about Ice Age on this channel, it was talking about the abomination known as the Ice Age, The Adventures of Buck Wild. And it was a dumpster fire, as the thumbnail said. I will leave that video in the end if you want to check out that video. It was very fun doing that with my friends. But here we are to the second project done by Disney with the Ice Age brand. And it wasn't that bad. I actually kind of liked it. Surprisingly, it was better than Ice Age 6, both in writing and comedy and in visual. What kind of world do we live in where a miniseries looks better than a movie? Apparently that's the Disneyverse, and unfortunately Ice Age is not leaving there anytime soon since Blue Sky had shut down. But yeah, I have a lot to talk about when it comes to this series. So episode 1 opens up with a Disney Plus logo and a Blue Sky logo. Actually 2! Like, finally! Something that Ice Age 6 should have had. A tribute of sorts to the original creators of Ice Age, since you shut them down. Which, in Disney's case, means that Blue Sky probably had developed all 6 episodes before Disney shut them down. Which stinks. Because that was their last project to officially hit, if this is true. They were going to make a 2D animated movie, but unfortunately that got scrapped too because of the Blue Sky shutdown, which I'm still disappointed to this day. But with that out of the way, let's continue with the rest of the episode. Because of the Blue Sky shutdown, which I'm still disappointed to this day. But with that out of the way, let's continue with the rest of the episode. So the episode opens up with Scrat's usual antics, where he is putting the nut in the ground, where of course a piece of the mountain breaks off, sending the acorn to its doom, which of course Scrat follows it, and when he hits the ground, he thinks he finds the acorn, but he finds this little baby Scrat, which of course he originally tried abandoning it. And, of course, Scrat eventually then grows to both love the acorn and this new little baby character. And he does a bunch of fatherly things with them until the acorn is found. Well, baby Scrat finds it. Then Scrat is in a feud with himself about him loving the baby and him loving the acorn, which, of course, he freaks out, which, of course, Scrat then snatches the acorn from baby Scrat, and then puts the acorn in the ground as his usual antics, which, of course, the mountain splits in half again, and this time he's holding on both the mountainside and the acorn, which, of course, baby Scrat takes. And then Scrat tries to grab the acorn, but the other side of the mountain crashes on him and he falls, and baby Scrat gets the acorn. That's basically the premise. These episodes aren't that long. They're only like 3 minutes. 3 minutes. So, of course, now we have to go to episode 2, and it was good as well. Episode 2 was definitely one of the funniest, in my opinion. So, the episode opens up with Baby Scrat with the acorn again, which, of course, Scrat takes the acorn, but it wakes up the baby, and the baby starts crying really, really loud, which an avalanche is starting to begin. Which, of course, he does the test, like giving him the acorn, which stops it, then taking it back, causing it again. And it keeps repeating itself. So then Scrat has to injure himself repeatedly, and throughout his injuries, the baby keeps adding more things. Like, first, I think it was like a stick, then it was a, cactus. Yes, I'm not kidding. Eventually a beehive, a dodo bird, and so many more items. And it just kept getting funnier. This is the old Ice Age. Why couldn't Ice Age 6 have this comedy in it? So the baby eventually falls asleep without the acorn, which of course Scrat then accidentally shouts loud because he gets injured, and the mountain crashes on him, which, of course, the acorn rolls to the baby, and the baby has the acorn again. Alright, to episode 3. So episode 3 opens up with Scrat admiring the acorn, which, of course, the baby then takes and put it in his mouth. Scrat tries to take it from him, but he is instantly tangled in a vine, which gives him the idea to set a trap for baby Scrat. So when he puts the acorn in the ground, like Scrat does, the rope would activate and hang him on the tree by his leg so he can have the acorn all to himself. And he even makes his little diagram to explain to the baby, which of course does not succeed. The baby tries repeatedly to do this, but of course, being a baby, the baby can't do anything. Like when he was about to learn to do it, like, what I mean is, when he was about to try it, the acorn falls out of his hands. And not just once, but twice. And before the second time, he can't even pick up the acorn, which of course, Scrat then angrily grabs the acorn, slams it in the ground like he usually does, which activates the trap, which, of course, baby Scrat gets the acorn. Yeah, this show has pretty much the same formula throughout all 6 episodes. So yeah, that's pretty much it about this episode. Alright, to episode 4. So, episode 4. So, episode 4 opens up, of course, with baby Scrat and Scrat fighting over the acorn again. Yes, these episodes have the same formula as I said before. But, of course, Scrat and baby Scrat lose the acorn, and they have to go into this evil-looking mountain. Yeah, that's what you do. Go in the creepy mountain that literally shows a face when lightning strikes. Alright, and in this cave, they see themselves in the reflections, but when they finally find the acorn, somehow their reflections come to life. This one was a bit weird. Of course, it had some of its best moments. I will acknowledge that, but this episode was just plain weird. So eventually Scrat grabs the acorn, which then, of course, Reflection Scrat grabs the acorn and taunts regular Scrat with the acorn. And then, of course, a baby Reflection Scrat comes in and they start arguing, which then they decide, as the mountain's starting to collapse because them fighting each other, to forget about the acorn and ignore their feud and just try to live their lives as one. Scrat being a better father and baby Scrat being a better son, which only lasts, I'd say, for maybe 30 seconds, because then the acorn rolls out of the cave, and after they start arguing again, the ice that was in front of them producing their reflection then comes to life. Is just all ice a different dimension? This is weird. So, does that mean every single time Manny sees a piece of ice, he sees this evil reflection of himself? I don't know. I'm guessing not, but it's cartoon logic. Whatever. Alright, let's get into episode 5. So episode 5, of course, continues off where episode 4 left off. But of course, they find the dodo bird to have the acorn. Which, of course, Baby Scrat and Scrat plan to attempt to take the acorn from the dodo bird, which they are successful in a way. But they get caught on the top of a mountain with the stick. Well, I should say more of a log. And they have to be extra careful because the acorn is on one side and Baby Scrat's on the other. And if one side's too heavy, the thing will tip over. They will plunge to their unfortunate death. So they have to figure out a way to grab the acorn without causing the whole log to fall over, which eventually the dodo bird just slides and just grabs the acorn. Which, of course, then they tilt the log to the left side where they are heading up towards the dodo bird, and they make this joke like they're flying a military jet, and as the log hits the dodo bird, there's just like this big explosion. And yeah, that's pretty much the episode. So let's get into the final episode, which is the weirdest of them all. Final episode of this show. Well, unless they make a season 2, which I doubt because Blue Sky shut down. Maybe this was just supposed to be a one-season thing. But we'll see what happens. So, of course, Baby Scrat and Scrat are fighting over the acorn again. But unfortunately, the acorn is then destroyed by a volcano. So, Scrat and Baby Scrat learn to accept it. And then Baby Scrat and Scrat basically live their whole lives together and be a perfect family, even to the point where Scrat dies and becomes a ghost. Yeah. The weird thing is, Baby Scrat stays the same way. For a second, I thought it was a montage of what they could do. But of course, no, this is the actual episode. This is weird. And of course, after Scrat dies, Baby Scrat heads towards the area where it was lost in the volcano, and we find out that the acorn was not destroyed by the volcano. It was actually this is how it worked. So it hit the ground where there was this panel to release the lava, and as that happened, the acorn got slinged to the rock down. And Baby Scrat, of course, grabs the acorn all for himself. So then Scrat just possesses his old body to take the acorn from Baby Scrat. And yeah, that's the whole episode. Yeah. So this show wasn't perfect, but it is so much better than Ice Age 6. Ice Age 6 was just plain bad. But this is definitely an improvement. Of course, I still wish we got Scrat in Ice Age 6, but that's just a personal take. So yeah, what would I have to rate this show? I'd have to give it an 8 out of 10. Even though the show is not perfect, it definitely has the old Ice Age comedy. But yeah, what did you think of Ice Age Scrat Tales? Tell me in the comments. And have a nice day, everyone. Oh, and also, check out my previous Ice Age video about why the Ice Age, The Adventures of Buck Wild, is an abomination. Check that video out, and if you like today's video, make sure to like, comment, maybe, and subscribe. This channel could really use the help. And also, for those who are already subscribed to the channel, please check if you are still subscribed. YouTube is apparently doing that thing again where subscribers are automatically unsubscribed. So make sure you're subscribed or not. And that's it for this video. Have a nice day, everyone.